The velvet should be forward. We will fix it before you get on the stage, so don't stress it. When you get to me, you should have this on your arm, you should have your card in your hand, the other hand, and you shouldn't be carrying anything else. If you're carrying something else, it's going to be really hard to get your diploma cover from your dean. Can I pull a volunteer up really quick? Actually, we will do a demonstration in just a minute, but first, a note from Alumni Affairs.
Hi, everybody. I am very excited to be, I think, the second person on the stage to officially congratulate you on your graduation. So, congratulations. Woo. My name's Jenny Van Duzen. I work in the alumni office, and I work for you, which might sound kind of weird, but all of us in the alumni relations office are here to support you as new members of the alumni family as you go forward, and we're here to help you maintain your connection to the college and to each other. I think I might get more hands in this crowd than I did earlier, but has anyone here heard of Emerge? Yes, I knew it. Thank you. I knew I loved you. Who here is in Emerge? Woo! All right, so those of you who are in it know that that's where you can go to connect with more than 6,000 Emerson alumni in that fabulous, legendary Emerson Alumni Network. Use it. It's emerge.emerson.edu. That's where you can go to have your career questions answered. You can find a mentor, and believe it or not, very soon, you will have students reaching out to you, and you can ask them if they'd like some help. They can ask questions of you, and you can share your experiences. So hop on in Emerge and get going with that. But Emerge is just one way to stay connected. Our office hosts a variety
Good afternoon. I'm Jan Roberts-Breslin, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2023 School of Communication Graduate Hooding Ceremony. Congratulations, graduates. Job well done. I want to welcome the families and friends of our graduates who are here today and watching from afar. Your support has been incredibly important to the success of these graduates. We gratefully acknowledge that, and we thank you. And let me take a moment to recognize our faculty. Emerson faculty are experts in their fields, scholars, clinicians, and professionals who care deeply about the success of their students. They help the members of the class of 2023 reach this milestone by providing an exceptional learning environment, and they have done so with care and compassion. Let's thank them. Earning a master's degree is a major accomplishment that requires effort and sacrifice. Our graduates know that better than anyone. But graduate school is a special opportunity to work very hard at something you love. I expect that you will look back at this time when you were able to write, create, critique, theorize, strategize, and bask in learning while in the company of colleagues and mentors as a time to cherish. At the same time, your master's degree has positioned you to succeed in your field by encouraging you to learn by doing, experiment, and envision the future of your discipline. Today is a day to celebrate and be proud of what you have accomplished. Then go out there and do Emerson proud. Congratulations to you all. We will begin with the invocation. Please stand if you are able.
Graduates of Emerson School of Communication, this is the day when we celebrate the achievements, the papers, the creations, the twists and the turns, the growth and the stories that you have brought forth into this world. We are here to celebrate you, to celebrate us, to celebrate the journeys that have led you right here to this moment, and it is an honor to be here with you. As we begin today's ceremony with this invocation, we are called to engage in a practice that is ancient, with deep roots across a great many spiritual traditions. An invocation is, at its core, an invitation into stillness and reverence for that which we consider sacred. And on a day that we have anticipated and waited for so long, one that perhaps is filled with flurry and busyness and exhaustion and excitement, we take this moment of invocation as a very needed pause to invite, to acknowledge, and to thank all that has given us guidance and inspiration on our journeys leading up to today. As is our tradition at many events at Emerson, we begin by first acknowledging the land upon which we stand. Here in Boston, we are on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Massachusetts people, whose name was appropriated by this Commonwealth. We pay respect to the Massachusetts elders, past and present. So too, in this invocation, we also acknowledge and celebrate the diversity of paths and traditions present in this gathered community. And we celebrate that we find the sacred in so many different ways. For some, this is in the mystery called God. For others, We find the sacred within the wisdom of ancestors, or in the beauty of nature, in sparks of creativity, or in pursuit of justice. However it is that you find sacredness in your life, I invite you to pause with me now, and in our shared silence, to invite into your mind and into your heart all that you consider sacred. Let us be in silence. Thank you, congratulations, and welcome each and every one of you to your well-deserved graduate hooding ceremony. Please be seated.
I will now invite Kim McLaren, Dean of Graduate and Professional Studies at Emerson, to deliver the graduate ceremony address. Kim McLaren is a novelist, essayist, and journalist whose work explores systemic issues in experiential terms, anchoring questions of identity, humanity, and meaning in narratives of family, friends, and self. She is the author of 3 critically acclaimed novels, 2 essay collections, and the biblio-memoir James Baldwin's Another Country, bookmarked. Her work has appeared in the New England Review, the Sewanee Review, the Sun Magazine, the Washington Post, and many other publications. She is a former staff writer for the Associated Press and the New York Times, and appears regularly on Basic Black on WGBH. Please welcome Dean McLaren.
Thank you, Jan. Good afternoon. You know, whenever I speak publicly, I usually begin by doing that, by saying good morning or good afternoon. And then if the response is tepid, as it just was, I usually prompt the audience by saying something like, come on now, I'm from the South, and we have to do better than that. So I actually did that at an event in April, and it was fine. But for some reason afterwards, maybe the dirty look that one of the students gave me, I started wondering about it. I mean, I am from the South, but I have lived above the Mason-Dixie line for the bulk of my life, and y'all do things up differently up here. So why is that still my habit? To be a writer is to have self-interrogation as eternal homework. So this kind of pondering is nothing new to me. And what I came to after a while was the understanding that yes, part of the reason is because I'm Southern by birth, but a bigger part of the reason was that I grew up in the Black church. And in the Black church, the sermon, the message, the word, is not the sole responsibility of the person in the pulpit. The message is not delivered from on high to a passive audience. It's a communal undertaking, a collective striving towards some small sliver of enlightenment. Call and response. Call and response. If it's just call, it doesn't work so well. So what I figured out is the reason I do this annoying thing of making the audience return my greeting is that it's a signal to you that if anything even vaguely useful or meaningful is going to happen in the next, say, 12 to 15 minutes, it will have to be a collective endeavor. It will have to come from all of us. So I say again, good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. Okay, that's better. Here we go. Let us begin by saying that we are living through very dangerous times. That's not my line. That's a line from an essay entitled A Talk to Teachers by the great James Baldwin. I borrowed that line to begin my brief remarks today, in part because it's true. These are, without question, very dangerous times. But I also borrowed it because Baldwin's audience in his essay is teachers, and in a way that may not seem obvious at first, so today is mine. Last year, when I gave the first of these graduate hooding ceremony speeches, I discovered that the original meaning behind a master's degree was a declaration that a person had been admitted to the rank of master or teacher at one university, and thus should also be admitted to that same rank at other universities. Now, probably the reason I didn't realize that was until last year is because I myself do not hold a master's degree. Ironic, I know. And a testament, I think, to the ability of this institution to understand that people can arrive at the same place from very different starting points and along very different paths. That is one of Emerson's great strengths. But pondering that original meaning of the master's degree helped sharpen my vision for what graduate education here at Emerson is and should be. And that is that we are training not only the best clinicians and communicators and scholars and artists we possibly can, but we are nurturing the next generation of change makers in those fields. People who will go out and by their actions and their examples shape their workplaces and communities for the better, in no small measure by showing others how to the way to do the same. Teachers, in a word. My hope, my belief, is that we have equipped you with the necessary education to do just that. And I also hope that your time here at Emerson has grappled with what Baldwin calls the paradox of education. On the one hand, all education takes place within a social framework and is designed to perpetuate the aims of the society in which it has taken place. And yet, Baldwin writes, quote, "The true purpose of education, finally, is to create in a person the ability to look at the world for himself, to make his own decisions, to say to himself, this is black or this is white, to decide for himself whether there is a God in heaven or not, to ask questions of the universe, and then to learn to live with those questions," close quote. Now, a person who has learned to do that will necessarily begin to question the very society in which they have been educated, and thus to challenge the very aims they have been educated to perpetuate. That's the paradox. Now, note that Baldwin defines an educated person as someone who has the ability to ask questions and then to learn to live with those questions, not to leap to answers, not to try to impose those answers on others, not to rigidly insist upon sole possession of the truth, to learn to live with the questions, to understand that my way of looking at reality is a way, not the way, to say to yourself and to others out loud and very often, you know, I don't know. Or also, actually, I'm just not certain. To be truly educated is to understand that we're all just blind men feeling the trunk or the side or the ear of an elephant. How then can we insist that we alone know what an elephant is when what we have hold of is, at best, only one small part of the truth? And this leads us to a further paradox of education that I've thought about. To be truly educated means to think for oneself, but not to think by oneself, or only of oneself. Individualism is fine. Individualism is great. I'm a writer, and God knows nobody is more individualistic or egotistical than writers. But individualism, taken to an extreme, is a social suicide pact. Wisdom is a collective endeavor. Researchers who study wisdom, and yes, that is a real field of inquiry, have identified 6 measurable components, the most important one of which is pro-social behavior, compassion, empathy, altruism. Wisdom cannot be attained through the antisocial behaviors of hostility or antipathy or cold indifference. Wisdom cannot be attained in isolation or in an echo chamber or through an algorithm feeding itself. Wisdom simply cannot be attained while not giving a damn about other human beings. I have a lot more to say on this subject, but I am conscious both of the time and the occasion. This is a commencement, and commencement speeches are supposed to be hopeful. I do want to leave you with some hope, but I have to be honest, it's a little difficult. Going back to Baldwin's opening statement, these are exceedingly dangerous times. Many, many things are critically threatened. Our planet, our democracy, our children. Walking through the mall or sitting in their schools, trying only to learn, only to be met with violence and bloodshed and death. James Baldwin said, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." And so I'm sorry, but I must tell you that a society which does not respond, which refuses to respond when its children are endangered, a society which accepts the slaughter of innocence as the price that must be paid for some stunted, delusional notion of freedom, this is a society for which it is very difficult to have hope. But here's the thing. In my humble opinion, hope is overrated. Now, many people disagree with me on this, so feel free to join them. But I have found that hope, especially of the wishful thinking, magical thinking variety we mean when we usually talk about that word, use that word, I've found that to be of little sustaining use when confronting problems of the human-created kind. Hope is a feeling. I like feelings as much as the next person. In fact, as a young woman, I was so enamored of my feelings, I was at their mercy many, many a day. Then one day, I stumbled upon a book called A Handbook for Constructive Living by a writer named David Reynolds. I'd never heard of him before. Allow me to pause here for a second to plead with you to please, please, for the love of all things holy, protect books. Books are under attack in this country. Book challenges and book bans are at an all-time high. State laws censoring ideas and materials in public schools have exploded. While we are distracted by the lie of cancel culture, real state-sponsored censorship is on the march in this country. The consequences for future generations are frightening, not just from a social point of view, but from a human one. Baldwin said, quote, "You think your pain and your heartbreak are unprecedented in the history of the world, but then you read. It was books that taught me that all the things that tormented me most were the very things that connected me with all the people who were alive or who had ever been alive," close quote. I remember reading that very line in a book when I was 29 and deciding to keep living after all. This is the absolute truth. So because I am a reader, and I was constantly reading as a young woman, I stumbled upon this other book about feelings. I will never forget the little exercise in the first chapter, and I will share it with you. Set your alarm clock for 3 minutes. Pick an object in the room where you are, a clock or a chair, and focus both your gaze and your thoughts, your attention, on that object until the alarm goes off. What do you think happens for most people? That's right. They find it much easier to keep their gaze on the clock than to keep their thoughts on the clock. That's because we as humans have far more control over our behavior than we have over our thoughts. And over our feelings, we have no control at all, which makes basing what we do on how we feel a very questionable life choice. Hope is a feeling. I actually like to think of it as being like a bread machine. A bread machine is a nice thing to have. I'm waiting for you guys to react. I mean, How is hope like a bread machine? I'm glad you asked that. A bread machine is a nice thing to have. It prods some people to undertake a task they would not otherwise undertake, but it's expensive and unreliable, and it takes up a lot of space on the counter. And here's the point. It is not at all essential to the task at hand. To make bread, you don't need a bread machine. All you need is flour and water and yeast. You don't need hope to understand that dangerous times call for courageous action. You don't need hope to understand that every action you take in a day, how you speak to people, how you drive, how you vote, how you either shrug your shoulders and accept homelessness and poverty and an orgy of gun violence, or work against these things and refuse to accept them, that these actions and your choices either make your society more or less humane. You don't need hope to see that the flip side of a right is a responsibility. And if you're going to claim the coin, you better claim the whole thing. You don't need hope to keep going even when the battle seems hopeless, when the odds are not only against you, but clearly insurmountable, when you know that rock is just going to roll back down that hill once you get it to the top. You don't need hope to understand that the arc of the moral universe only bends towards justice if enough people pull it that way. And that if you let go, there's just that much more chance that it's not going to bend. And you don't need hope to understand that technology will not save us, because technology never has and never will solve the problems of the human heart. You don't need hope for any of that, just the rock-solid belief that action in the name of making the world a more humane dwelling place is part of your job as a clinician, as a communicator, as a scholar, as a master, as a human being. I was searching for a word for this understanding, this clarity that leads to action, even the absence of hope. Perseverance, resilience, tenacity, these all sort of start to get at it. But the closest I came was tikkun olam, which is the Jewish belief that the world is profoundly broken, can only be healed by human action, and that it is therefore your moral responsibility to try, regardless of the outcome. A shorter word for this might be integrity, or even better, agency. And if, as the poet says, hope is a thing with feathers, then integrity and agency are things with legs. Now, to show you that I'm not a total grouch, I'm going to leave you with a story I used to tell my kids when they were young. A little girl is walking on the beach early one morning, and she sees thousands of starfish tossed up on the beach by a storm. She knows that the rising sun will kill the starfish, so she begins picking them up one by one and tossing them into the waves. An old man walking past stops to watch her. "Little girl," he says, "you'll never get all those starfish back in the water in time. You can't make a difference." She pauses for a second, then reaches down, picks up a starfish, and tosses it into the sea. "Made a difference to that one," she said. My hope is that when you graduates go out into the world and encounter starfish that need saving and hopeless bystanders who need a model of integrity and agency, and you will, that you will remember what you have learned here at Emerson College, and that whether or not you are feeling that feathery thing called hope in the crucial moment, you will roll up your cuffs, wade into the tide, and start picking up starfish. Congratulations, enjoy your day, and then let's get to work. Thank you. Thank you. It is now my great pleasure to introduce this year's graduate student speaker, Kate Dubovikovna, who is receiving her Master of Arts in Strategic Marketing Communication. Kate was born in St. Petersburg, Russia. After obtaining her bachelor's and master's degree in linguistics and intercultural communication from St. Petersburg State University, Kate pursued a career in global tech sales. At Emerson, she has served as graduate ambassador for the Office of International Student Affairs and the president of the International Graduate Student Organization. And she has worked diligently to nurture our community of international students. Brenna McCormick, graduate program director for strategic marketing, called Kate a natural ambassador, connecting to others across the graduate programs and departments, a skilled communicator with a steady stream of engaging information always being shared on social media, a valued peer, and a sought-out collaborator among her classmates, as well as a creative strategist. Someone who likes stability but is willing to lean into really powerful and smart risks that speak to her very great heart. Please welcome Kate.
Thank you, Kim. Good afternoon, my fellow graduates, families, friends, staff, and faculty. Thank you for joining us today in celebrating this moment of the class 2023. At Emerson, I've learned about the power of storytelling and the impact it can make on the world. So I decided to share a little story of mine with you today. It was during the COVID times when I first felt something was wrong. I was sitting in my studio apartment back home in St. Petersburg, Russia, working remotely as a sales development representative, when I realized that I didn't know where I was going and what was next for me. Being an ambitious person and a goal achiever, I always strive for more. But at that time, my goals seemed so small and meaningless. I kept asking myself the same question over and over again. Is that it? I lost all my curiosity, and the spark was gone. I mean, I was fine doing my job from paycheck to paycheck, but I didn't get anything out of it but tiredness in the end of the day. In other words, I got burnt out. And I really wanted to get my spark back. I wanted to find my path. And the key word here is my. Something that I would feel truly passionate about. Something that I would feel that I belonged to. So I decided that it was time for a change and a pause. I decided to pursue another master's degree, but this time abroad, because I love challenges. They do make us grow. I still remember that feeling when, out of too many programs, out of too many search hours, out of too many web pages, I stumbled upon Emerson College and the description of the Strategic Marketing Communication program. Every word in it resonated with me, and it just clicked. And it clicked even more after I spoke to Professor McCormick, the program director, who is so contagiously enthusiastic about the craft. I finally saw that spark that I was missing. Even though my path wasn't straightforward, and it was not the only program I applied for, I luckily ended up here. As I love saying, we choose a bachelor degree with our mind, but we choose a master's with our heart. And I'm happy to stand here today, ready to receive my master's degree from the school where I finally feel like I belong to. This feeling will go with me, not only as a sweet memory, but also as an important benchmark of how I should really feel at any place from now on. And Emerson, you've set this bar up high, so I will be picky. At Emerson College, I got more than just knowledge and skills. I've learned something very important. I've learned how to understand myself and listen to what I really want. Time here has been challenging, yet enlightening, and full of growth. I probably don't know everyone here, but I'm sure I spoke to many of my fellow graduates, and this is another thing that I'm grateful to Emerson for, connections. People are 90% of our journey. People we meet, people we work with, people we learn from, they all define our path. Here at Emerson, I met such incredible people, peers who have become my friends, professors and staff who have become my mentors. And I want to thank everybody who has been such a great support to me throughout my time at Emerson and beyond. I'll start with my family. Even though my family cannot be here today, I know that they're watching the hooding ceremony online and that they are proud. They are the source of everything for me. I really love you so much, and I miss you. I also want to give special thanks to my husband, who is here today, who went on this journey with me, gave up his career and what he had built back home so I could pursue my dream. I'm eternally grateful to you for that. The journey here has not been easy. Being far away from home is one of the biggest struggles that all international students have to go through. And I want to thank everybody at Emerson who makes this experience easier for us. The Office of International Student Affairs, who welcomed me to their team as a graduate ambassador, and who let me be not only the part of the community, but also let me make an impact. I'm also grateful to my friends from the International Graduate Student Organization who are graduating here today with me. I've been working with them side by side to help other international students feel connected and build the bonds that will last. We need to stay close to people who believe in us, and we need to believe in ourselves. I know what it's like when somebody doubts in you, but I also know how to block it off by focusing on what truly matters to you. My English teacher didn't believe in me. She even once said that I would not pass the final exam in school, but I did. And then I graduated with honors from St. Petersburg State University, majoring in American English and intercultural communication. Today, years later, I'm standing here on this stage in front of so many incredible people, delivering a speech in the language that is not even my mother tongue. By this, I want to say that everything is possible if you just believe in yourself and focus on what truly matters to you. We all live in a time of change today. Big changes, small changes, for better, for worse, they all around us. I've been here less than 2 years, and a lot has changed since I arrived in August 2021. We no longer have to pass COVID tests every week, which is a major adjustment. We witnessed the reveal of the Embrace Monument in Boston Common, and the whole T-Orange line has been renovated. Well, it still runs too slow for me. See, I come from St. Petersburg, where if you miss the train, you're so disappointed because you have to wait for another minute. A minute, literally. But a minute might be enough to make a change. So don't be afraid of changes. Welcome them and adapt. Because if there are changes in your life, it means you live and life goes on. Move on. Notice little moments. See those changes, accept them, and create new ones. Class of 2023, this is my greatest pleasure and honor to celebrate this moment of change and transition that we're going through today together. With people who love us, who are close to us, and who believe us, we should never doubt our abilities to make changes. I stand for lifelong learning, and I stand for having faith. So let's be proud of ourselves for this remarkable achievement in our lives, and let's believe in ourselves. We've made it, and we're not going to stop. So let's get out there and create some good changes for the world, because we can. Congratulations, and thank you.
Congratulations to all of our graduates as you move on out into the world and change it.
Are you going to be a super thoughtful and engaged leader no matter where you go?
I think I'm a forever student, and maybe you are too.
Stay curious, stay open to learning.
Make sure that you always find time for yourself.
I hope that our program has given you the tools to know how to go out and tell the very best stories.
Remember, the best thing that you'll ever create is yourself.
For my students, get out there and get published.
Know that we are here cheering on for you.
Best of luck in your endeavors as you move beyond Emerson.
We can't wait to share you with the world, and I hope you're proud of yourself.
And now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Will all of the master's degree candidates please rise? Provost Roberts Breslin, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Communication at Emerson College, I have the honor of presenting to you the candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts and Master of Science who have successfully completed all requirements.
Thank you, Dean Smith. Graduates, please come forward to receive your hood.
Provost Robert Breslin, may I present the Master of Arts degree recipients from the School of Communication in Media Design. Nev Judith Chambers. Yuling Chen. Redeema V. Dave. Emerson K. Holloway. Chunjiaozhu Lu. Tomina Koi Sali. Zijun Yang. Provost Roberts Breslin, may I present the Masters of Science degree recipients from the School of Communication, Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders in Communication Disorders. Olivia Helen Anderson. Sarah Autry. Emily Rose Beliveau. Fernanda Below. Hannah Roberts Brown. Caroline Snow Carreras. Lauren Marie Carrera. Maria Dolores Cotavarella. Mara Elizabeth Coughlin. Vanessa Marie Dale. Luke Min Davis. Olivia Elizabeth Denkowitz. Weizin Ding. Vanessa Guadalupe Enriquez. Stephanie Marie Fay. Rachel Kara Fultonberg. Mary Grace Gainey. Skylar Kathleen Hamblin. Lamia Hussein. Jennifer Elizabeth Jones. Boram Kim. Amy Jane LaFerrera. Alicia S. Lai. Julia Marie Leary. Laura Elizabeth McCann. Ava Elizabeth Medeiros. Mary Margaret Minosa. Ashlyn Shea Murphy. Tan A. Ngoyen. Graciela Patain. Paola Andrea Pinilla Ramirez. Alyssa Kaylee Ragosta. Ashley Noel Reef. Courtney J. Richards. Kendall Virginia Ricky. Laura C. Sears. Urvarsha Anil Shethia. Leah Alexandra Shukan. Macy Simon. Amanda R. Sullivan. Jordan Elizabeth Talenda. Kayla Tavakoli. Emily Wideline. Provost Roberts Breslin, may I present the Master of Arts degree recipients from the School of Communication, Department of Communication Studies in Political Communication. Aaron Butts. Joe C. Creason. Isabel Holloway, Abigail Leal Velletri, Provost Roberts Breslin, may I present the Master of Arts degree recipients from the School of Communication, Department of Communication Studies in Public Relations. Abdul Qadir Mahmoud Abdul Bari. Caitlin Jo Carter. Caitlin Grace Dewberry. Grace Ivana Liriano. Provost Roberts Breslin, may I present the Master of Arts degree recipients from the School of Communication, Department of Communication Studies in Sports Communication. Vincent Kahn. Alexander Jeffrey Dean. Gabriella DeGeorge.
Devin Nelson.
Dean Roberts Breslin, Provost Roberts Breslin, my apologies. May I present the Master of Arts degree recipients from the School of Communication, Department of Journalism. Mally Bloom. David James Bruce. Haley Elizabeth Hersey. Brandon Hill. Stephanie Michaela Iansu. Chingwei Li. Mina Rose Mornay Morales. Cullen James McIntyre. Gwendolyn Joyce Mintz. Kieran Matthew O'Connor. Skylar Oliver Owen Stark Ragsdale. Lillian Sexton. Provost Roberts Breslin, may I present the Master of Arts degree recipients from the School of Communication, Department of Marketing Communication in Digital Marketing and Data Analytics. Allison R. Chapman. Audrey Chiato. Lois Ann Glasgow. Jameen Asiel Gordon. Caitlin Kuntz. Please clap for Jennifer Ann Maybe. Woo! Alexandra Noel. Samantha O'Neill. Amelia Marie Schmarzo. Jennifer Nicole Schubert. Naomi St. Louis. Clancy Eileen Stone. Provost Roberts Breslin, may I present the Master of Arts degree recipients from the School of Communication, Department of Marketing Communication in Strategic Marketing Communication. Sofia Aldana. Gada Khalid Almogren. Noor Malak Barghouti. Yu Xiao Chen. Zhou An Chu. Jason Luis Domenech Nazario. Yekaterina Dubovikova. Christopher Mark Aberhart. Lestar Maria Fisk. Spencer Joseph Garnowski. Jordan Miles Hatton. Kaylee Jane Hecker. Yuchin Kao. Chayu Kuo. Pei Tong Lin. Chie Lo. Andy Cheat. Miaohan Yang. Chia Yun Ye.
May I ask the audience to rise as you are able for the benediction and to remain standing for the closing and the recessional. Thank you. Graduates, as you will go from this place blessing the world with your work and words and beings, we now take this moment to confer our blessings upon you. May you always trust in wisdom, for it is a sacred compass within you and around you. May you always treat yourself with gentleness, for you are worthy of compassion and care. And may you always know that your presence and your work and your being has already been a gift to many communities, and we here at Emerson are now honored to count you amongst our alumni. So go forth, with our pride in you, with our belief in you, and with our hopes that you will inspire others as you have inspired us. Congratulations, and go in peace.
Thank you for joining us today to mark this momentous occasion. Congratulations again to the Emerson College School of Communication class of 2023. This marks the conclusion of our ceremony. Please allow our graduates to exit first. Good night.